Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yehovah Shai, Bahasham Rechach Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Yakim out there, kicking this word in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Luke 21:25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after these things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
2019 was a banner year for credible UFO sightings. What could they be? Let me read a little bit of this first, because I want to make sure you have the context. But there have been many credible reports from servicemen, people in the Navy and stuff like that. I think I have some explanations. We also have some other news too on the UFO front. Thousands of government UFO reports are now available at a Canadian university. So we'll come to this one. We'll start with this one. The New York Post reports, it's been a hell of a year for UFOs. Once thought to be fictional works used to sell tabloids, 2019 has been awash with news of UFOs, aliens, and strange phenomena, including reports complete with video from verifiably sane sources. In May, the Pentagon admitted it investigates UFOs soon after Navy pilots claimed to not only have seen but recorded UFOs during training exercises in 2004 and 2015. In November, another report in Popular Mechanics confirmed that after the 2004 incident, two unknown individuals took the data tapes away and wiped the memory from the Navy hard drive.
It's like purple. Oh wait, it's coming out.
Is it coming out?
Yeah, it's coming out of the tower.
What the hell is this kid screaming for, dude? It's just a clip.
Are those the stars? What?
That's crazy!
What the heck?
Those aren't stars.
I'll see you like next time.
What is that? That is weird. That's
I
so...
can't.
It's like a Korean bomber.
Dude, no way. But they're just sitting there. There's like no other... What? Like, what the fuck?
I'm so confused.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Missouri is weird. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Now, as you can see from that first video, there's an increase in chariot sightings. But this isn't necessarily a new trend. And let me pull that up. Yeah, there's this site, called NUFORC.org, and they document. It's a database for UFO sightings, basically, and it goes back pretty far. And a lot of the data comes from reported. This is older data. It comes from military reports, newspaper reports, all this stuff. It goes back pretty far, actually. Historical reports. And you can see in a lot of these years leading up to the 20th century, there wasn't that many sightings. Single digits, approaching up until 1950s. Start getting a little bit more here. Jump up to the 60s, 70s. You can start seeing an increase. You got to go to the double digits. 80s, a lot more double digits. And we jump into the 90s. Still a relatively a low amount. A lot more double digits going into late 90s. Then we go into the 2000s and mostly double digits. 2004, 2005, then suddenly 2006, when it goes from the double digits to a huge jump of triple digits. Slack it. And this trend continued on this side at least. Triple digits all the way up, and a larger number of them leading up to now. And let me go to this other site. Similar data. This is a UFOhunters.com. And in this chart, you can see at about maybe the late 90s, crossing over into the early 2000s, there's a huge spike in UFO sightings reported on this side. Now, why all of a sudden, when we enter this at the 21st century, we have a huge increase in UFO sightings? Well, first off, you got to know what the UFOs are. UFOs are mistakenly called that. They're actually the chariots of the Most High and His angels. Our Lord Yahweh Shai and His son, His father, Yahweh. These are His chariots. And the reason why we're seeing this increase now is because our salvation is drawing near. And you can see in that second video, those you can hear in their voice. They're not our nation. They're most likely Edomites, and they're uncomfortable with what they're seeing. They're dismayed by those lights in the sky, because for them in the spirit, they know what that means. In the spirit, they know that the coming of the chariots is their destruction, is the end of their kingdom. But for us, it's our salvation. So we rejoice when we see an increase in these chariots. Now I'm going to talk about this USS Nimitz UFO incident, because through the Spirit I was shown something after reading some scriptures on chariots, that there's evidence that at least one reported incident of a UFO fits the description of a chariot in the scriptures. So this happened in 2004. USS UFO incident, Nimitz UFO incident, was a radar visual encounter of an unidentified flying object, a chariot of the Most High, by U.S. fighter pilots of the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group in 2004. And one of the pilots gave a description of the chariot he saw. Let me get that. A few seconds later, they noticed an unusual object hovering with erratic movements about 50 feet above the churning water. Both Fravor, this is one of the pilots, and Slate, another pilot, described the object as a large, bright, white tic-tac, 30 to 46 feet long, with no windshield, nor porthole, no wing, nor empennage, and no visual engine, nor exhaust plume. So we'll hold on to that. White tic-tac, about 30 to 46 feet long, and pretty plain looking. Just no windshield, no nothing. Like a big white Tic Tac. All right. Now let's go to the scripture. I think it's here. All right, because this is the prophet Zechariah, and he saw this chariot in a vision. So I'm starting off at Zechariah 5:1, and it says, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll." So the flying roll is when people see objects that they're unfamiliar with, they don't know what it is, and this we try to compare it to something that we do know, and that's what happened in the Nimitz incident. He saw that object, and what his mind referenced it to was a Tic Tac. Now, in this time, and of course they didn't have Tic Tacs, but what they did have that looked similar to this object was a roll of bread. So let me continue. And he said unto me, "What seest thou?" And I answered, "I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits." So what is a cubit? A cubit is a length, a measurement that we don't. Of course, we don't use that anymore. But let me pull up the Wikipedia page here and find that. All right. So a cubit is an ancient unit of length that had several definitions according to each of the various different cultures that used the unit. These definitions typically range between 17 and 20 inches, with an ancient Roman cubit being as long as 47 inches. So the typical range being a little bit over a foot and just under 2 feet. Now, from my understanding, the cubit. Here, let me go further. I don't want to get into my understanding because it's right here. The shorter unit, common cubit, was based on the forearm length from the tip of the middle finger to the bottom of the elbow, and was divided as 6 palms times 4 fingers equals 24 digits. Anyways, so cubit being almost 2 feet and just above a foot, anywhere in between that range. So what Zechariah saw was, he said 20 cubits by 10 cubits, which would make it, let's round up and say, it was 2 feet, just for the sake of, approximating this better. 20 cubits would be 40 feet, while 10 cubits would be 20 feet. Okay? Now let's go back to what the pilot saw. He said, Slovakia, bear with me. He said it was, 40 feet? Where's that at? Okay. So 30 to 46 feet. While what Zechariah saw, now if you take the approximation of that cubit there, fits that almost perfectly. Of course, neither Zechariah nor this pilot could go to the object and measure it, so they're going off of what they see, and they're assuming that's the length of it. So, of course, there's variation. They both can't be exact, but white Tic Tac. Now, in Zechariah's time, there was no Tic Tacs, like I said, so it looked like a roll. Roll is, he didn't say the color of it, but assuming that he was looking at it and saying, "Oh, it's light colored, maybe even white," because Bread can be, almost not white, a beige color, a lighter color to a brown. So maybe it was white to Zechariah. Maybe the color is not even that important. But from this description, comparing the two, what the pilot saw and Zechariah saw, it sounds like the same thing. Now he said 20 cubits by 10 cubits. If you look at a tic tac is probably uh, twice as long as it is wide. So that would fit this. That would fit this description almost perfectly. So basically, I bring all this up just to kind of speculate that what this pilot saw and what Zechariah saw were probably the same kind of chariot. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I thought that was really interesting that the Spirit put it on me to look into this and make that comparison. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into some scriptures and then be out of here. So first I'm going to go to Psalm 68:17. And it reads, "The chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels." So when those chariots arrive in full force, the sky is going to be littered with them. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of these chariots everywhere. Now, you see in that second video how they were freaking out about seeing just a couple of lights in the sky. Imagine what they're going to do when the sky is just full of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of chariots coming here to destroy this place, to bring that concentrated fire, and right just before the destruction. And they're gonna freak out. Their hearts are gonna fail them from fear. So I'm going to go over to Exodus, and we're familiar with this one here, Exodus 13, and some of us are at least. Exodus 13 and 21, where it's talking about the chariot as a pillar. So 21 here. "And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud." So some of these chariots that come down and disguise themselves as clouds. And sometimes, we in those past times, they were described as clouds because, what else would be up in the sky that's white or gray or silver that, was just floating there. So sometimes they disguise themselves as clouds, and sometimes people just looked at them and said, well, that must be a cloud because what else is up there that does that? The chariots look like clouds sometimes. So, and in this example in Exodus, when they're leaving Egypt, the Lord went by them by one of these clouds, one of these chariots, and it was described here as a cloud. And who knows? Maybe it was it actually looked like a cloud, or they just called it a cloud because it was just hanging out there, light colored, white, gray, and they said, well, it's a cloud. It's the Lord's cloud because they didn't have any other name for it. So I'm gonna go over to Jeremiah 10 and 2. Slakia, is it? Yeah, that's right, 10 and 2. And it reads, "Thus saith the Lord, learn not the ways of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them." And just like you saw in that second video, and they saw those lights, and for them, even though they don't know consciously what those are, in the spirit, they know. And they're dismayed at this because when those chariots come down with that concentrated fire, following Slocky, that's my meditation bell, following that nuclear destruction, they're going to be dismayed at that. And they already are dismayed at that when they're seeing these chariots. And the Lord is coming on a chariot to bring that concentrated fire and destruction. So they should be dismayed at that. You know what I mean? They should. This is not a good thing for the heathen to see. It's a sign of the end of their kingdom. So I'm going over to Isaiah 66 and 15. And it says, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire." So he's coming on, the Lord, Yahushai, is coming on those chariots. And he's not coming, to redeem everyone and with flowers and chariots, Slakia, trumpets blowing, and to bring love and peace to the world like everyone thinks. No, he's coming right here. It says he's coming with fire to render his anger with fury. That doesn't sound pleasant. It doesn't sound like he's coming back, to bring peace to the world. He's coming with some heat. He's coming with flames, and his rebuke with flames of fire. He's coming, he's coming with some shit that's gonna just gonna disappoint a lot of people. And Lord willing, we're a part of the number who isn't going to be a part of that destruction, because they've been taking the Most High for a joke for way too long, and thinking that he's not going to come with fury, he's not going to come with flames and fire to blow this damn place up. So I'm going to leave it at that. Lord willing, this was edifying for you. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachach Wadash. Peace and blessings to the Akim out there, and Shalom.